Hi, welcome back, Star Wars Racing Incorporated. And we're live. Quick update, journey to the runoffs. So as we get closer to the runoffs, we're gonna do more videos because there's more things going on, right? A couple things for us this year is, this weekend's been kind of a marathon. Not too much. I mean, a little bit. Yesterday we had to do some stuff. This year we had to do a few more things. Like the transmission bell housing cracking. That's something you don't count on. The tunnel, really it's been something I haven't done in a while, and it was overdue. So I had to spend time on that. Not this weekend, but the weeks before and leading up to now, to the last race and test. And obviously also now for this week the new engine, right, or the backup engine. So I could have just take the engine as is. Of course, I trust my engine builder. If I was to pull it out there and start it, it was gonna be no problem, of course. But I'm driving almost. The drive from Florida to the Runoffs is 2 days, so you want to make sure everything is done before you get there. So it's a lot of extra work. Again, if you want to be 100% sure, which I do. So yeah, so we need to put the engine in, make sure it starts, and let's talk about that. So yeah, good news, baby. Good news. Lower X7, a little dirty, but we'll do some TLC soon. We've been doing the mechanicals, right? Already checked everything back here. Already changed my suspension back here. Already changed my springs back here. Nuts and bolts check. That's all done. Here, the tunnel is all looking good. Nice underneath there, looking good. Also the brakes everything's back in, of course. New rotors, new bearings, and some new studs. Didn't put them all just so that I have some backups. I'm gonna buy a whole set now with this style here. I like this style better, but yeah, all good here. New brake rotors here, some Hawk performance. Yeah, so we're looking good, and new engine is in. That's why I spent pretty late night last night. Everything was good. I was just taking my time. Just wanted to finish the night by pushing the engine in. And man, it wasn't going in, not all the way. I don't like to close the engine in with the bolts. I've done that before and broken ear pieces. So every time I've been learning to push it in, so it's very, very close. And that's my neighbor. He's got one of those airboats with a huge motor. So he makes more noise than I make, so that's good. They don't come after me with my rotary. But anyways, so yeah, it's in. It started right away. So we get a nice warm up. Tomorrow we'll do a couple more hours. Even though we don't have any new bearings or stuff like that in this engine. Still gonna give it a nice warm up break in, if you will. But yeah, no, sounded fantastic. Pretty good. So really happy. So now for the rest of the Sunday evening that I got left, just gonna start taking components off, and probably tomorrow we'll pull it out, so we can put this baby back on, and I will run that other one, but I don't have the time to really go and do a good break-in slow test, bring it in up to speed nice and slowly. And the other thing, this thing has been on the car for almost the last year, and it's been spot on. So going in with what we know works, right? This engine, they're identical, but this sounded beastful. So couple tip of the day. So obviously we break it in. Now we're gonna take the oil out, and before we take the oil out and put it here, you want to make sure this is really clean, because when we take the oil out and then we move this to an empty container to recycle, you want to make sure that obviously there's no filings or anything here, right? So very important to always keep it's got a little drop here now. Clean this up between, especially for new engine stuff. So that's the tip of the day. Okay, tip of the day in general. Also for the rotaries, and those of you guys who do rotaries, you know that there's a lot of Vaseline or lube or oil that gets spread into the engine as it's built. So usually, you know, even if you spin it a little while, the first set of spark plugs will get just greasy, and you know. So usually for the rotary, you want to have 2 sets of spark plugs, no less, because the first set's gonna get all dirty and wet with gas, oils, and Vaseline and all kinds of stuff, and the car will never start. So at least I've done it enough now that I know. I put these, you know, kind of low value, you know, just not the spark plugs I normally use, and then you can see they get pretty wet and pretty greasy, and yeah, so the car won't start that way. So you do that, spin it a little bit more times, and then you put the other spark plugs, and then boom, fires right up, right? The other tip of the day is this little strainer. I use this all the time because, you know, the water here, it's got the treatment with the wet wetter, so I don't want to lose that. So I just, when I empty the radiator, I save it in a container, and then I put it back. But when I put it back, I always make sure I use my little strainer. And then look, there's always little thingies, right? I use it with this like that. And then, so yeah, little couple bucks strainer here. I use it all the time since I'm recycling that water, right? Because yeah, the wet wetter, you know, that's not cheap stuff. Not so expensive, but you know, it's just, if I can save myself $30, why not, right? And you know, and it works just fine, you know. So again, another tip of the day. So, so we're all good here. So we're gonna again start taking some stuff off. No, I'm sorry, not tonight. So we'll still do tomorrow. We'll turn on a little bit more. Talked to our engine builder, and he recommended let's do a couple more hours. You know, just to be safe. But you know, there's no new bearings in this engine, so usually in that case we can, you know, we don't have to do the long break-in that we normally do. But yeah, everything pretty good. Really happy. So we'll turn it on tomorrow again, let it warm up a little more, and then we'll take it off and get the bad boy back in, and then we're ready to go. Put the stuff away. My shop is a mess, but yeah, we're looking good. So that's the update here. And then obviously for the rotary, you got to have the big bolt 54 millimeter socket. Look at this beast. Look at that. But you know, that's how we do it. But yeah, I mean, that's the list is getting slower. It's smaller. So after we put the engine back on, we'll be close with the engine stuff, looking perfect good, and then we'll start working on the fiberglass. I guess mid next week, we should be starting to work on that during our evenings after we do our regular work. But yeah, that will give us really a week and a half to do the fiberglass. And then we go to a test day on the 20th of September, the week before we depart. So we're looking good. So that's what's going on here. Journey to the Runoffs, SWR 77 style, Star Wars Racing Incorporated.